Hi everyone and welcome to this week's video. I'm really excited to have you all here. I've been really nerding out by researching for this video because today we're going to be talking about Christmas cards. I've actually been handing out Christmas cards for quite a while, but more on that later in this video. So I thought it'd be really cool to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of background about Christmas cards and the history of Christmas cards. One day I was writing some out and I thought, wow, it seems like I've been sending out Christmas cards forever, and then my mom's been sending out Christmas cards forever, my grandma's been sending out Christmas cards forever, but I wasn't quite sure how long Christmas cards had actually been around and how it became a tradition to send them out every single year, since it seems like, you know, most people don't send out Easter cards or St. Patrick's Day cards. Sometimes I would, but it's not like a big thing where I'd send it out to like a bunch of my friends and family and everything. It'd be like to very specific people because we laughed or we talked about it. It's not like Christmas cards where I just want to send it to everyone I know. So it got me really curious, and I did some research and I found out that Christmas cards weren't actually sold commercially until 1843 in London. So let me give you a little bit of background. London started this new program called the postal penny. Now this program meant that you can send any kind of letter for a penny. So a lot of people were sending letters all over the place. Well, only in the country. So it was a penny to send it anywhere in the country, which granted, a penny then was a lot more than what a penny is now, but still, it was fairly cheap. And this one man, Sir Henry Cole, kept getting letters and letters, and it was very rude if you didn't respond to it. So he either spent his whole entire time writing letters and responding to them, or he would, you know, go about his job and then make everyone mad because he was being rude and not responding to their letters. So he decided to start selling Christmas cards because that would be an easy way to just respond to someone quickly. You could write as little or as much as you want. Usually it would just say Merry Christmas and you just send it out. And so he actually commissioned John Halcott Horsley to design the first Christmas card. So this Christmas card depicted a family, including children, drinking wine together. This was supposed to be an endearing scene where Christmas time is about spending time with your family and being together and just enjoying each other's company. But there was actually a temperance movement going on in London at the time, so a lot of people thought it was very immoral and they weren't very fond of the Christmas card, but nonetheless it sold a lot better than most people had expected it to, and it just kind of took off from there. But a lot of people started doing cheap knockoffs, and then eventually Sir Henry Cole wasn't selling Christmas cards anymore. A bunch of other people were. But you know, that's what happens, you know, in capitalism and commercialism. One other little tidbit I wanted to share with you about Sir Henry Cole before I move on is that he's mostly known for finding the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. So this museum is still around. It's a museum of art and performance and design. And I went on their website and it's really cool. They show some of their collections and it's just wow. They have photography, they have sculpture, they have art, they have literature. They have this entire section on Beatrix Potter, who you probably know her work from Peter Cottontail, and it's so gorgeous, and to see it all together, it's on my list of places to go eventually at one point when it's safe to do so. So I'll have a link to that in the description. I know it's a little random, but I don't think they have anything on Christmas cards at that museum, but it's really cool. I highly recommend just checking out the collection, just looking through things really quick, or take as long as you want. So another interesting fact about early Christmas cards is that they didn't actually depict winter scenes or Christmas scenes. A lot of times they were actually flowers and fairies and landscapes of spring, just because people were really tired of the winter and the cold, but people would send these cards to say spring is almost coming, hang in there, winter is almost over. So it wasn't what we normally would see on a Christmas card. So it was actually Louis Prang who started commercially selling Christmas cards in the United States in 1875. He was the one who started putting winter motifs and, you know, the traditional Christmas themes that you would normally see on a Christmas card. He had a print shop in Boston and he started selling these. And again, like Sir Henry Cole, there was a lot of people who started selling cheap knockoffs. So unfortunately, he didn't keep on selling these. The business kind of went under. But the idea of Christmas cards really took off in the United States. There was a slight decline just because people were losing interest. In the early 1900s, charities started selling Christmas cards as a fundraiser. Now, the one you might be most familiar with is UNICEF. They have a Christmas card program in which they sell Christmas cards for money in order to fund their various ventures. Unfortunately, again, people started selling Christmas cards saying, oh yeah, this is for a fundraiser, we're gonna send all the money to charity, without really sending the money to charity. Back to UNICEF, their first Christmas card was painted by a 7-year-old Czech girl who her village was sent vaccines and food from UNICEF after World War II. And that was their first Christmas card that they sent out and sold. Since then, they've commissioned various artists to donate their art in order to raise some funds for the people that they help out. And they still do this. There's still a lot of charities that send out Christmas cards and sell them for fundraisers. So all this talk about Christmas cards probably has you thinking about Hallmark, if you're like me. I know that back when I was younger, there was a Hallmark store in our mall that I always loved going to during Christmas because I liked looking at all the different ornaments because they always had them on display and all the different cards that they would come out with. And Hallmark is probably the, I guess, brand people think of most when they think of Christmas cards, and it's really fascinating to see how they started. So the Hallmark Company was started by Joyce Hall in 1915 in Kansas City. So he originally had just a postcard store where they would print out postcards. Eventually his brothers came onto the scene and then they formed Hallmark. But they had discovered that people weren't satisfied with the amount of room on this postcard. They wanted a little bit more room, but they didn't want to have to write an entire letter to everyone they sent a Christmas card out to. So the Hall brothers started the standard 4x6 one-fold Christmas card that people usually see. Before, there wasn't quite a standard. I mean, some very early Christmas cards were incredibly intricate. They were like puzzles that you would put together, or they could be folded like a map. There's no like, this is what a Christmas card looks like if I went to Hallmark right now, or if I went to Target or Walmart or even the Dollar Tree to buy some Christmas cards. So they kind of started that traditional look of the Christmas card. So we'll jump back a few years to 1953, where President Dwight D. Eisenhower sent the first White House Christmas cards out. So these cards were sent to various U.S. ambassadors who were abroad, different government officials. There were Congress and cabinet members and even some private citizens who received these cards. Now, this is a tradition that's sent out every year, and they do commission various artists to design the artwork for their Christmas cards. So if you're like me, you go out and you buy specific Christmas stamps for your Christmas cards. The United States Postal Service didn't actually start doing this until 1962. Their first stamp had a couple of candles, a wreath, and underneath it said Christmas 1962. They didn't think it would be that popular, but they didn't want to, lose out on too much money, so they printed out a few, and it sold just like that. And they were like, we need to print more. So they printed out and sold, I believe, 1 billion stamps that year. In 1 year! That's crazy. Since they had to go and reprint, they printed on the wrong paper, and so some of those stamps that were sent out or kept actually are kind of rare. I did some research on that, and one specialist had said that no, it's not actually that rare since there were a bunch of them, but it's kind of rare. I don't know too much about stamp collecting, but I did find out that a lot of people collect Christmas cards. Some people have specific Christmas cards they keep. One person had said they only keep the snowman Christmas cards they receive, or they go out and they buy the specific snowman Christmas cards. So they revolve their entire collection around one theme or one subject in a card. Other people keep it for just memories. I know I keep all my Christmas cards, which one day it's going to be a problem, but it's just so sweet to go back and to read them and be like, oh my gosh, oh, I remember when I received this, I remember who sent this. It's so nice to have a handwritten letter, even if it's just Merry Christmas, Happy New Year kind of thing. I just think Christmas cards are so special, and that's why I send them out each year. With e-cards, I know a lot of things being sent through the post office has kind of declined, but it's went back up since the pandemic. I've read so many people saying that, oh yeah, usually I send out maybe 10, 20 Christmas cards, not really that many, but this year I had so much time that I decided I was going to send out 150 Christmas cards, and I was like, oh, okay, I thought I was getting a little ambitious sending 30 cards instead of like 20, but no. Obviously there are others who are much more ambitious, and I applaud you for your efforts. But 2015 survey had found out that approximately 1.6 million Christmas cards were sent through the post office each year. That's a lot. So yes, it might have declined a little bit. There may not have been statistically as many people to Christmas card kind of ratio sending them out through the post office versus through the email, or however you send your e-cards, or text messages, or through social media. But people were not losing interest. It's a tradition, and like I said, I've been sending them forever. My mom sends them every year, my grandma sends them every year, so I don't really see this tradition going under, or people just letting it go. Maybe people writing letters just randomly might decline steadily, but especially with this pandemic and not being able to be with people like we normally would, I can definitely see how the idea of handwritten letters and Christmas cards and all that great stuff will be utilized for a lot longer than we initially had maybe predicted or had thought. So I did promise to tell you about some of the experiences I've had with Christmas cards, because they're just such fun stories and make me smile so much. I actually remember receiving my first Christmas card. I think I was in 2nd grade, so I was like 7 years old. In my class, there were twins who decided they were going to buy Christmas cards and send them out to everyone. And I thought that was so special. Like, I kid you not, I kept that Christmas card up year round. Like, I always like to look at it thinking, oh my gosh, someone sent me a Christmas card, because my parents always got Christmas cards from various family members and everything, but I never got a Christmas card that was just for me. And it wasn't until I think I would send out some Christmas cards in junior high. It was just like to really close friends. We always thought it was really fun to just exchange cards, and we would always like make little origami pets and everything. We were very, very crafty with our paper back in junior high. This was before social media and before we had cell phones and YouTube and all that, and it was good times. But it wasn't until high school when I really started handing out Christmas cards, because there was a guy I really, really liked, and I wanted to give him something special, but nothing too special, because I liked him, but I wasn't sure if he liked me, and I'm not a teenager anymore. But so I came up with this plan where I was like, okay, I'll give him a Christmas card, but I'll give everyone else a Christmas card. That way it's not weird and awkward, and he thinks it's weird or whatever. So everyone got a Christmas card that year, and then it just became a thing. So every year I would write everyone out a Christmas card, and I was doing like, I swear, like 50 Christmas cards each year, which was a lot because I was like in drumline and I had AP classes and tests, but I had a little bit of spare time and I was gonna give everyone a Christmas card. I also made sure that everyone got some sort of little treat with it. So usually I'd go to the Dollar Tree and I'd get those like teeny tiny candy canes and I'd tape them to them. I remember one year I had saved up enough money, so instead of buying the $1 teeny tiny candy canes, I could buy like the $2 teeny tiny Kit Kats, and everyone got Kit Kats that year. And that was so much fun, and I did that all throughout, even college. I would hand out Christmas cards to everyone, and I would do the treats, but it wasn't until I had moved out that I really actually started mailing Christmas cards. And then this year is the first year I didn't hand out any Christmas cards to anyone. Everything had to be sent out through the mail. It's still kind of weird to not like give it to someone and they'd be like, oh my gosh, and kind of see the reaction right away. But I've had friends who text me and are like, oh my gosh, I got your Christmas card. And that's really what I want people to feel, is how I felt when I first got that Christmas card in 2nd grade. I want people to feel like I remember them, that they are loved, that I care about them, and that this is a really weird time, but we're all living through it, you know? And if you're watching this and you're like, Kat, we've known each other for like 10 years and I didn't get a Christmas card this year. Let me tell you, that's probably because I don't have your address. So just like text me and be like, hey Kat, what's up? And then I'll send you a Christmas card, because you know, I gotta send you a Christmas card. And that's the other thing is, I'm so used to just seeing my friends or going to their house. I'm like, I don't even know where you live. What's your address? Like, I know how to get there. I guess I could drive there, figure out your address, and then come back. Because I always like it to be a kind of a surprise where people open up their mailbox and they're like, oh my gosh! So they're not like Charlie Brown, you know, when he's like, oh, thanks for the Christmas card, Lavender. I never got a Christmas card and trying to use sarcasm and not really working. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video and found it interesting and maybe inspired you to send out some Christmas cards. I know it's getting a little late, but it's not too late to send them out. I hope you learned something, found it a little interesting, didn't put you to sleep. And let me know if you guys have ideas for future videos. Thank you so much for all the support you've given me for my past videos. I know they've been super popular with the Christmas ones. Be on the watch out for next week. I have something really exciting planned for that video. So go ahead, hit that subscribe, like this video if you found it interesting, and I'll see you guys next video, okay? Thanks, bye.